Hello everyone. I would like to get in the habit of doing some experiments in the book on Tuesdays, so I thought I would do a really quick video. I don't really have a lot planned, but a little bit of something is better than nothing. So, did want to show you this stamp did get dry, and I haven't tested it yet. So let's do that. I really need to put some tape on it. Well, that turned out all right. It's interesting. I like spirals. Probably shouldn't have the knot at the center, but what are you going to do? I also did, where did I put them? I thought about punches, and I've had this punch for a very long time. I don't even know if they make those anymore. But I made a stamp from that and the negative as well. I cut a piece of square and put it in there and stamped it out, and then put the square here and then the frog itself over here. So I will show you what those look like. It was just made out of the fun foam. I just kind of, it didn't really want it to go in there, and it didn't punch it really well, but you have to convince things sometimes that they really want to do what you want them to do. So there's that frog, and then here is the punch out. I need to trim that a little bit. I like the punch out. And then I tried to do a punch out with this hand. Then I got this one recently. I wanted some hands for paper dolls, so I got this punch, but I could not get the foam into that little, it seems like it should be plenty big enough, but it would not go into that crack. So I tried to use some cardstock, and I used a couple layers of cardstock and kind of put it on top of each other. The cardstock does not, it doesn't stamp well. In fact, I'll stamp it on this because it's horrible. But if you can figure out a way to get something thicker underneath there, it's not the best. So that's a failed attempt. So anyway, just wanted you to see those. We haven't done anything with watercolor, so I thought maybe we would try doing some watercolor. And I've just got out here cheap kids watercolors. This one I think is Crayola. This one's Prang, and it's glitter. This one I have no idea, but it's definitely cheap, and it's glitter as well. And this one's a Prang, and this one's metallic. So I got some big fluffy brushes, so I just thought I'd add a little bit of color to this page. I might as well use up this glitter paint. I've had this stuff for a lot of years. I think I made some of my first series backgrounds with some of this. Obviously I love purple because it's almost gone. So I'm just going to slap a little bit of color, except there's not much color. That's better. I'm just going to color those circles. This cheap stuff you don't have to add much water to, because then you don't have any color left. There, that's better. A little less water. Add some color to that page. A little bit more water. I don't know how glittery it'll be. And since I glued this stuff down with just a glue stick, it's probably going to come up with all this water, so I'll have to glue it back. But that's fine. I will do that when it's dry. So that's a little bit of color on that page. Here's a page that needs a little something. Let's try some of this metallic. Okay. It does open, right? Okay. All right. Open. Open sesame. We got some blue on there, so I'll put some more blue. Oh, yeah. That'll be fun. Some metallic color. Some green on there. And I don't have to worry about pages sticking with watercolors. Really like that. Do have to worry about getting it really wet like that, because I did use a glue stick for all this stuff. It'll add interest if it comes up, right? Okay, so that's some color there. Kind of interesting. Where else can we put some color? I was thinking, here's some blank pages back here. We should do something with those. I was thinking, maybe put just a little bit of color on that. Like a wash. Just a light. These pages are not watercolor paper, so they're kind of protesting a little bit. And I was wondering if paper towel for my mess here. Making a big mess. I was wondering, I've got the dye ink pads. I'll use this dark green. This is what I like to do with these. I got my Mr. bottle. This is a Mr. bottle that I got from the dollar store. It was a body splash that I used, and then I just use the bottle just for misting because it's nice and big. I mist a lot of stuff, and I go through it quite a bit. And I was wondering if this roller would do anything. It kind of does. It's kind of cool. It's just a foam roller that I got at the inside the painters section at any of the things are coming off already. Got too much water in here. I knew I would. Let's see. We need a new page. That is pretty cool though. Should add some other kinds of colors. I've got some watercolor crayons that I forget to use. And I think it's probably too wet to do anything with. It probably is. So let's go back here a little bit. Here's a tissue paper one. Let's use a little bit of this green. We have some pink. I didn't glue this down real well. I was supposed to go back and do that, and I never did. Oh well. Get some color on it, and then I'll go through with some matte medium or something. do we have purple in this box? I've got this brand new that I hardly ever use because they're all nice and pretty. I always go for this stupid baggie with the ones that, you know, I use over and over and over again. Don't know why. I've had those for 15 years. Need to use them. And then I am going to spritz this just a little bit more because it's got a lot of color to it. Let's see what happens when I add a little bit of water to that. Not a lot. I like the watercolor crayons because you can take a wet, damp brush, and I am squeezing some of this water out of this so it's not quite so wet. But you can take a damp brush and kind of play around with the marks that you make with these crayons. Just a little bit more water. And you can move the color around a little bit, blend them. See, I really like the watercolor crayons. If you don't have them, I don't suggest you go get them until you're sure that you think that you might use them. I'm all about using what you have, but I'm sure you'd like to know what some of this stuff does. And that adds a little bit of color. It's kind of nice. So those are watercolor crayons. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot planned. I kind of wanted to, I got some tissue, some dressmakers. I have one pattern that I've had for many, many years. Haven't used it all yet. And I'm not going to get another dress pattern until I use the one that I've got. And I thought I'd put it on that eye page. Nope, that's not the eye page. But I just got the back of it all wet, so it's not going to take glue now. I guess we can try. You know what, I am going to use some matte medium this time. First of all, I am going to, I'm sorry, I just don't know what to do, and I need to get the cards out just so I don't have to think. I had a brainstorming night, and I've been so busy, it's not even funny. So I just wanted a page. Here's a plain kind of page. And I thought that I might do a little stenciling. I haven't done much stenciling in here. I like stenciling. My makeup sponge that goes with this color, so I can reuse it. I have a rubber band against the back of it, and I am just going to do it randomly. I always say that, and then I do way too much. Just to give it some texture, something different, something. And we put something else on that later. Something different, something, just something. A little something something. I like stenciling, and I need to be, I think I'm gonna have a stencil day where I just get out some of my homemade stencils and just stencil away in this book. So I'm gonna go back to this page that's kind of wet from the other page that we just did. So I don't know if this is going to work real well because it's already wet. I'm going to rip up my pattern piece. And the pattern that I got was used when I got it, so all these pieces are all cut out already. Try to cut it up before I start gluing it down. And I'm going to use a brush and some cheap gloss medium that I got at Walmart. It's got to be better than a glue stick. So I am just going to put a little down and use a brush and kind of spread that around. And start putting some of these pieces down and putting some of that gloss medium over. As I go, and I kind of want to do this last so that I can leave the page open and let it dry. I feel like I'm covering that eye too much. I like that eye. I want to cover it completely. And it's buckling a little bit because I did use a glue stick on it. So it happens. So I'm just going to randomly put this piece down. Probably need just a tad bit more. This is kind of like tissue paper. It's really thin. A little bit more. A little bit. And it kind of, the glue will seep through it a little bit. Just a little bit. So that's about all the time we've got, since I can only make 18-minute videos, and I am just going to let that dry a little bit. You know, I might just put a little bit of color on that. What kind of color should I put on there? Blue. Here, let's use the glitter. Let's use glitter. A little bit of glitter. See if that'll take. Too much water. So it can dry. It's not really adding any color to what I put down there already. It's going to be really fine, not really noticeable color, I think. So my camera's going to shut off. Thanks for watching.